Hey everyone, it's Ryan Leonard with Wolf Nest Property Management, and today we're going to be talking about a fun one. Is your property management company doing their job? Whether you have had a long-term relationship with this property management company, or you're a DIY owner who has brought on a management company, or if this is your first investment property and you decided to hire a property manager, that's a good thing. Now, while property managers are supposed to have the best interests of you and your property in mind, that may not always be the case. And really, how can you know if they have your best interests in mind, or taking care of your property like they should? Not all property management companies are created equal. So if you are with a company that you're not happy with, just do a little shopping around, because you may be able to find the right one. But let's take a look here. So some of the ways that you can tell if your management company is not doing a great job. One is check in with your tenants. Now, us at Wolf Nest, we never give the owner contact information to the tenants. So there should never be a scenario where the owner is getting involved. But if your tenants are contacting you, complaining about maintenance delays or maintenance requests not being addressed, or they haven't picked up rent, or I need to pay on time to avoid a late fee. If you're ever having communication with your tenants, that's usually a good sign that your company is not doing their job, because that's one of the biggest benefits of having a property management company, is that you're not involved. You're not having these conversations with tenants. You're not having to take time out of your day to do the job that you hired this company to do. So a big one is if you have concerns and you see that the tenant is contacting you rather than that property management company, first thing is have that conversation. And if it sounds like they're going around the management company and coming straight to you, really explain to the tenant that there's a certain policy or a procedure that needs to happen. Everything goes through the management company. But if they're like, hey, I have submitted stuff to the management company, but I haven't heard anything, hence why I'm reaching out to you, that's usually a bad sign. Another good indicator is talk to the neighbors. If the property just looks like it's in horrible shape from a curb appeal standpoint, that could be really two things: the tenant's not doing their job, but also the property management company is not doing their job, because they're not going there to inspect, to make sure that it's up to the standards that it was when that tenant moved in. So if you have some contact information for your neighbors, reach out to them and say, have you seen any of the managers come around? How's the property looking? And if they say it doesn't look great, that's the first sign that you should be reaching out to that management company to have them go get eyes on that property. So a good rule of thumb that I'd like to say is, if there's smoke, there's fire. Some of the big signs that you don't have a great property management company is that you reach out to them and you don't hear anything back. You hear complaints from the tenants, complaints from the neighbors. Also, a lack of transparency. If you're getting billed for things that you really don't know why, or if they can't provide invoices, and if your payments are not timely, those are all big, red flags that you should be, looking at canceling that agreement. And also, if you're looking at property management companies, ask about their contract termination fees, or what does the early termination look like. Now, I would say a lot of companies will tie clients into 1-2 year contracts with these high cancellation fees, because even if they do a bad job, you're having to pay them to fire them. That makes absolutely no sense. Us at Wolf Nest, we have month-to-month agreements, and we do not have early termination fees. So a reason behind that is we're not going to give you a reason to cancel, but also we feel it should be mutually beneficial. So if you have any questions about your current management company, if you're not happy and you'd like to discuss our services, hear more about our month-to-month agreements, no termination fees, I'd be happy to discuss that with you. Here's my phone number, my email. Shoot me a call or an email, and I'll get right back to you, and we can discuss your portfolio and see if our services could be a good fit. Thanks.